Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commoner himself, Zealeus.
Yo! What's up?
I think I fully recovered from the Smite World Championship tournament that occurred this past weekend.
2015.
Yes.
Go Cognitive Red. No, Cognitive Prime.
There, boy. Cognitive Red got third place, but Cognitive Prime brought home the $1.3 million check.
Not too shabby for a weekend's worth of work. Not that they, did any work ahead of time for it or anything.
Oh, no, they don't train at all. It's just, they make up the teams as they come into the stadium.
They just kind of pull people off the MARTA train, really.
Right.
And they just kind of like, hey, you want to come play some video games with us?
So congratulations to Barracuda, MLC Stealth, Jeff Hinla, Annister. I'm forgetting one.
I don't know. I only...
How many did I already say?
4.
Shit. Who's the 5th one?
Did you mention Big Sexy?
Oh, a Megatron.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Hinla's the love.
So what do you think of the tournament, yo? I mean, yeah, what do you think? I'll let you go first.
Okay, so I did go to the launch tournament, and I have to say that this one definitely scaled up in size and anticipation and quality of games, and of course quality of the venue. There's nothing wrong with center stage. You're just able to do a lot more with the Cobb Energy Center.
So it was at Center Stage last year and Cobb Energy Center this year?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a smaller venue. I mean,
yeah.
But anyways, phenomenal. I know that a lot of people didn't go to the Friday event. Thankfully, I found a loophole around the security to allow me to watch the Twitch matches.
You hacksaw?
No, it turns out that Xfinity has Wi-Fi points throughout the city. And it turns out there's one like literally within 300 yards of my office.
Nice.
Yes. So I was able to watch the first day. I have to say that the first day was basically was very anticlimactic. The teams you thought were going to win won. OMG, the Chinese team, definitely gave Titan a run for their money on the first day. But I think the skill and experience kind of showed, or lack thereof, on the second day. And you saw the U.S. teams and the European teams, the two areas that have had Smite the longest, really excel.
Especially in the morning, yeah, because in the morning you had basically 2 U.S. teams on this bracket, the 2 EU teams on this bracket,
yep,
and the 2 teams that they're playing, be it from South America or from China,
yep,
they were walkovers. I'm going to put it nicely. They were kind of like, okay, these book matches are kind of getting boring now because pretty quickly knew who are. But then.
Right. Then you had the 2 U.S. teams, Prime and Red, face off against each other on one side, and then for Europe, SK Gaming and Titan. Red was the heavy favorite coming into this entire tournament, and Prime took care of them. And then SK Gaming was a lot of people's pick to win the entire thing.
Yep.
And they didn't even make it into the championship game. They actually lost in the consolation round to Cognitive Red, so they placed 4th. So I have to say that I am a little bit scared of the Chinese team, OMG. They were probably like a couple moves away from being in every single match.
I don't know if you noticed, too. I looked online, and I don't know when this actually happened, but a bunch of their team was that was not their original team.
It was.
There was visa issues, so not everybody who was going to be on the original team was actually there.
So they have, in China, they have bigger teams. And for like StarCraft, you have 16 people. I think like 6 or 8 will travel. So that's the same principle with Smite. So the only people from the Chinese teams, they didn't have any alternates. That was the problem. That's the thing. Their coaches and their alternates were not there.
Okay, because I had read otherwise online.
From my understanding, it was just the alternates who weren't able to go there. Maybe there might have been like 1 or 2, but anyways, I have to. Okay, so here's my thought process. Let's say that all the teams magically come back. I think the U.S. I think Cognizant Prime, Cognizant Red, definitely definitely are going to be right back in the mix of things. I think that OMG is going to be a team that you have to watch out for and you cannot take for granted. I don't think DID, even with an extra year underneath their belt, is going to be good enough to actually, really displace anyone. Here's my weird curveball, okay? SK Gaming is definitely going to be bad. But I think that Titan takes a step back.
Well, I think too, though, because I did a little bit of looking online afterwards at different teams and makeups and compositions, and even looking at the launch trim at the top 2 teams who are no longer there. It seems like we could
and Team Solomon, which Team Solomon doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean we can prognosticate now, but it seems like in the esports world, there's so much turnover with the teams and who's on them. I mean, I looked at some of the players who were on Cognitive Prime and 1, and they were on different teams last year.
Yep.
So you look at a lot of these players, and I would be very surprised if you have any teams come back next year where it's the majority of the same players on the team. You might have a team like Prime that's an exception because who does that want to win another $1.3+ million?
Well, the other thing
is it seems like there's just so much turnover among these teams.
Well, okay, so what it really boils down to is you have a ton of teams out there, and you're going to have the bigger, better teams. They're going to poach talent.
Yeah.
They're going to find the better players below them, and they're going to basically drop one and pick up another. Cognitive, actually, I think they've got 3 teams. They got Prime, they got Red, and they got someone else.
Okay.
And they've got sponsors. I mean, they can sustain, especially after this win, especially for Prime. But smaller teams like Titan. My thing about Titan is I think that you have Team Solomon and another team. They've actually combined. The guy that you saw.
I actually saw it. And they're being sponsored by some huge conglomerate, actually. Yeah. And if you check out their website, they're talking about building, like, the world's largest, and probably only, actually, like, esports, like, freaking stadium.
Yep.
So we probably looked at the same thing, and, like, they're going, like, all in on, like, this whole esports thing. So if you look at them and they're willing to pay, and actually, I can't begin to tell you what an esports. So say you're going to pay them $100,000 a year to join their team.
I think. Well,
I'm just throwing out a number.
Right.
I don't know.
If it's anything like, because I saw a special report. It's been a while, so it's probably changed a little bit. But I saw a special report about StarCraft houses.
Mm-hmm.
The higher your ranking, the more like a stipend you get.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then basically, your room and board and food are paid for. But you have like crazy ass hours. Yeah,
it seems like it's also a sport that I could see a lot of burnout in too.
Well,
I mean, you see, you had players, they used to be LoL competitive players. They used to be StarCraft 2 competitive players. They used to be World of Warcraft competitive players.
There are actually some that completely jumped over genres. There's a couple out there that used to be competitive. What do you call it? Evo, the fighting game world tournament.
I mean, I just when it comes to video games, there's only so much repetition before you get bored of that game.
Right.
Esports is something I could see a lot of turnover from year to year, and I could easily see, next year where it's a whole entirely new cast of players. Either because you have new teams that come through the ranks, or the players maybe move on to another game, maybe their risk gives out because of RSI, or, it just seems like I could see a lot of turnover for not just Smite, but esports in general.
My prediction is you're probably going to see the guys from Cognitive Prime probably competitively a year or 2 more, and then you're probably rotating.
I agree. I think the team that, when you win that $1.3 million, you win, and obviously some of those players, like MSC, Stealth, and Barracuda, have outstanding individual talent.
Right.
And so obviously players like that, I think they're going to be fine going forward. You have players, in Red, you had Snoopy, K-Life, was that his name? Kanye Life. Some of these guys who are obviously they showed skill. I think they'll have no problem finding really good, top tier talents to play on if they so choose to.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like 80% of the players,
right,
you can interchange. Now here's my one thing with Smite though, from watching those games. That was kind of my my trifle of Smite
Okay.
is for the most part, 10 minutes into the game, whoever's winning is going to win that game. And it makes, I mean, from a, game theory standpoint, it makes sense because, you start dominating the map, you start getting the gold fury, you start, killing more gods than your other team, you're killing more of the minions, you're going to get more EXP and gold. I mean, it's a game built to snowball. And that's not just Smite, that's a lot of PvP-oriented video games.
Well, you can even go outside of video games. You could go into just like football, baseball, basketball. If once you gain that momentum, once you gain that lead, it's really hard to give it up unless you take your foot off the brake.
I think I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I do, but I just feel like Smite as a spectator activity or sport, or whatever you want to call it, I don't see the comebacks.
Unless you pull a Cloud9.
Unless you pull a Cloud9. They're just not there in a Smite game as you have in your traditional sports.
Did you hear how much HP the Titan had left when Cloud9 got deassigned?
I did not.
2.
Oh my god.
2!
That's ridiculous.
2! How's a Titan even standing? You should just like accidentally bump into something and die.
That's amazing.
Okay.
So that's my one trifle of watching sports watching Smite as a spectator is so. I mean, there's 2 games in the entire thing that really just stood out to me. There was the first game between SK Gaming and Titan.
Titan.
And it was one where it took like 10 minutes to kill the first god. And then between both cognitives, I think it was that second game. That was just ridiculous back and forth.
Right.
But other than that, most of the games were relatively speaking snowball, just rollover games. Some much more so than others. I mean, some were pretty close for a while.
Yeah.
But some were just total rolls, and that's my only worry of trying to get more people to watch the game, especially if they don't actually care about Smite in the first place. I'm just kind of thinking from the long-term view as
Well, I think
an activity.
Well, one of the things,
spectator sport.
one of the things that I'll definitely say, especially for myself, is that if I were to exclusively watch it through streams, I would get bored as shit.
Okay.
I need to be actually there live, where I can feed off the energy of the crowd.
And watch the cosplayers.
But also feed off the energy of the crowd. Be there to watch the actual reactions of the individuals playing up there, of people around you, of getting caught up in that moment where MLC Stealth has just activated the ultimate and is literally just sniping person after god after god.
I didn't have a clue what the hell's going on, and it was pretty awesome.
It was awesome. But I think for me, and I think that a lot of people like myself, probably the only way to stay into esports is to attend.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I was like, when I was watching it through the stream on Friday, I was getting kind of antsy because I wanted to get there. Now,
it's not like football.
No, it's not.
Or like football, I'd rather sit in my house. Don't get me wrong, I like going to the Falcons games, but it's something where you can also have an outstanding experience for a football game sitting on your couch, drinking a booze, versus going to the game. Both are great experiences.
Right.
Whereas I think with esports, being in person really makes it actually fun to watch.
Well, another thing is, and I apologize to anyone who was there. Another thing is, it's a brilliant time to actually be able to talk that Smite shop and maybe gain some additional friends on your playlist where you know that they're not total a-holes. Because I know Zealeus has played with a couple since he's gotten in, and I know that I have as well.
So going back to the SWC, I do say for the cosplay, the best one was definitely the guy who was Hades.
Yeah.
It was one of the best cosplays I've seen. It was a dude. He was full up from, head to the bottom. He was awesome cosplay. I give that guy mad props. And then the other one I think was, I never say her name right, Scylla. So she's like the little girl, I don't even know, she's got snakes and shit.
Technically it's
she's like a sea pirate or some weird shit.
Snake pirate. What do you think are some elements that make a game great to watch as a spectator compared to as a participant? Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
You want to take this one first?
Sure. So I think going back to Smite specifically is, okay, so going into SWC, I watched a grand total of like 2 hours, or played, 2 hours of Smite. I do have a fair number of hours of League of Legends, but I never got good at it, so I quit. So playing into Smite, I was like, okay, Charles, like, dude, you got to go to this. I was like, all right, so I went. And as a spectator, it's getting caught up in that moment. I didn't really know the skills of what's going on, but like Charlie said, when Scylla goes into her ultimate mode, it's pretty obvious that, there's a big red circle and some bad shit's about to happen. And when the whole crowd just starts going crazy, you just get wrapped up into that moment. The other thing I really liked about being there as a spectator, you go to a football game, for instance. Say, for instance, University of Georgia versus Auburn, If you're a Georgia fan and they get down by 14 in the first quarter, you're like, shit, this game sucks. I'm going to go jump off a bridge. I didn't give a shit who won the games at Smite World Championship. I mean, sure, I wanted, Cog Red or Cog Prime to win, but honestly, I didn't really care. So as a spectator from either team, seeing, them pulling up some crazy badass shit was just fun to see as a spectator. So it was able to keep you involved in the entire game, seeing either team be able to pull off, what was obviously a high amount of skill for their, giving God.
Right.
So for me as a spectator, that's what made it fun. So that's for me as a spectator. That's where I really enjoyed it, was either team, no matter who was winning or losing, I could cheer for either team just from the amount of skill they're showing.
So, okay. So just to reiterate the question, what do you think are some elements that make a game great to watch as a spectator compared to a participant? For me, like I said, I have to be there live. I have to be caught up in the moment. I've got to be caught up with the crowd. Having the commentators is another phenomenal
Especially
thing.
a British guy.
Now, of course, you got to be able to pump it out really, really quick, and that.
They had some rough patches.
Yes, they
did. They
did.
really did. As commentators, there were 2 games I remember. There was one where they got the red and blue team mixed up.
Right. Well, it really sucks
because
your team
red.
name. Right.
Yes.
If your team name consists of a color. The other thing is Cognitive Prime was called, or maybe still is called, Cognitive Gaming. So they kept flip-flopping between the two. But what makes it great for a spectator, outside of a participant, is you feel that level of stress for the players, but you don't have your stomach tied in knots. You're not about to shit your pants because you do something wrong. But then again, if you are a participant, you probably aren't going to go through that unless you literally just really get your ass handed to you. Apologies to the Latin American teams. But 404 was not ready. 404 was like junior varsity in high school compared to, like a Cog Red, a Cog Prime, Titan, even an OMG, which were, like collegiate level varsity teams. When it comes to the competitive scene, I'd rather watch it than play it because I am OCD and a little bit anxious about making errors. That's probably why I don't do a lot of PvP, which is kind of funny. Zealeus and I were talking about this previously, was that Zealeus has been, trying to slowly get himself into Smite. So he's been doing a lot of PvE, which is usually what I do in online gaming, and I'm doing the PvP stuff.
Well, as far as competitive goes, I used to play Team Fortress 2 a hell of a lot. And I actually, with my team from the Nephite clan, we actually got into some competitive clan stuff playing Team Fortress 2. The big thing is playing on that competitive level, it kind of eliminates the fun of playing the game when you're playing at a competitive level. I had a lot of fun, going on a random TF2 servers, playing people, having fun, playing any character. If you suck, who cares? If you win, awesome. But when I started playing those competitive TF2 matches, you're so stressed out over playing, where like you said, every single little movement you're playing, it's like, okay, I have to do this perfectly. Right. And you start sucking, or your KDR ratio starts going down the crapper, you really start feeling that as a video game player when you're just bringing down the whole team. So, I didn't play competitive TF2 very long because it wasn't fun to me anymore. It's just like I lost that fun element when I really started playing competitively, I'm like, okay, this sucks.
Well, okay, so I think one of the things is you have to be a specific type of gamer. I don't think everyone can be a competitive gamer because you have to have a certain makeup. Because, like what you said, for you, when you went into the competitive stream, it just wasn't fun anymore. You didn't, you'd rather just, play for shits and giggles. Where, if you messed up, it's not the end of the world. Now, unfortunately, there are those individuals out there who think that every single match is a competitive semi-pro match, and any error that any of your teammates make, you should belittle them to no end. And that, my friend, gives you a quick report from me and harassment. And I will try to find a way to block your ass so I never play with you again.
I think that's one of the reasons I haven't got into the PvP part of Smite as much, is because, even in games where I PvP'd a lot, for instance, like World of Warcraft, I used to PvP a lot back in the day.
I never did.
But even PvP, I played the PvE element long enough to know my character inside and out.
Right.
So when I stepped into that PvP element, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into with my skills, with my hotkeys. Versus Smite, if I go play Assault, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this god. Oh my gosh. So that's kind of my aspect of Smite, is not knowing what I'm getting myself into when I play the PvP element.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I think you're welcome for us answering your question. I think we've basically really nailed Smite down for now. I'm sure that we'll talk more about Smite as the...
I'm going to ask you one final question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so obviously there were some teams that weren't ready for the Smite World Championships. Right. Do you think that High Rise is going to look at maybe the process to get to the Smite World Championships and maybe revamp that at all to make sure that all 8 teams are competitive for next year?
I think you're going to see you have to do what they just did. Even if it's painfully obvious that certain teams just are not ready to play other teams, you still want that world feeling. You want to have you want the best of the best from each section. I think it really breaks down to servers. I would be interested. Okay, I don't know what classification you would put Australia in, but I know that Australia now has Smite. So where would you put them?
Usually they go with the Oceanic server, which I don't know what that actually means, but usually there's an Oceanic server.
Right. So it'll be interesting. You're still going to get the best 8.
You're still going to get 8 teams that would still dominate 99.9% of pugs.
Absolutely. Okay, so real quick, I know that it came out, yesterday or the day before? Hu Yi? I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
The new god for Smite in the ever-growing roster that is Smite. By the way, once you get Smite, you start getting into it, just go ahead, save yourself some trouble, buy the god pack, just so that you don't have to worry about potentially your god rotating out of the free selection and then you being SOL. Okay, Hu Yi, of course, is the defender of Earth. He's a Chinese god. He's a range.
He killed 8 sons. Don't forget about that.
9. No, 8. 8? 9.
I think it was 8.
Whatever.
There were 9 sons, and he killed 8 of them.
I thought there was 10 sons. He killed 9.
Whatever.
Well, whatever.
He killed a lot, man.
Killed a lot. If you want to know all the information, just go to alteredconfusion.com. We've got the trailer up there. Of course, you can go to Smite as well.
Smite. I think it's actually SmiteGame.com.
Okay, so let's change gears a little bit. There are some other games. Imagine
There's more games in the world than Smite?
Yes. All right, so first of all, for all of you individuals out there who may have an Xbox One, this big game, I'm going to be totally honest with you, I do not really keep track of many of the AAA titles, simply because Altered Confusion is really an independent game news and review website. But if you're interested in the game Evolve, the open beta started today, and you're going to be able to play it. From my understanding, you're going to be able to play the open beta from today all the way up to February 10th, which is going to be the actual release date. Now, here's the cool thing: a lot of games allow you to do the beta, but then they wipe all your information when you go to the live game. In Evolve, any monsters or hunters that you unlock, which I don't know what that means. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what that means, though I'll probably download it and test it out sometime in the near future. Any hunter or monsters that you find, or I guess collect maybe, will transfer over to the actual game if you buy it.
Interesting.
So if you have an Xbox One, go ahead. You probably should have done it last night, but go ahead and just download it. I don't know how long the download is, but something tells me that if people were, if a lot of people were wanting to preload it so they can make sure that they play today, something tells me that it's going to take a while to download. Okay, in other news, one of the companies that Ultra Confusion works with a lot from Europe is a company called Daedalic Entertainment.
Charlie's favorite company.
Daedalic Entertainment has phenomenal games. They work with, they keep adding to their roster of developers. They come up with interesting games. A lot of them are point-click adventure, but their next RPG game, which is actually a sequel to the first one, Blackguard 2 is coming out January 20th, which is less than a week away.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Of next week.
So definitely check it out. Now, if you did play Blackguard, the first one, and you thought that it was a little too complicated, I couldn't really get into it. Apparently, and as far as I could tell, because I've been playing the preview, is that they definitely really took into effect the feedback from the gamers and have tried to refine it in a way to allow for a stronger audience. I'm not going to say, like, not everyone's, I'm still not going to, encompass everyone.
The casual noob.
But they're definitely trying to.
It's not as hardcore, like just straight up AD&D rule set 3.5 only, man.
Right, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for it. Definitely it does come out January 20th on Steam.
I imagine you'll be playing it.
Ultra Confusion does have a review copy, which means that we will start playing, I will start playing in the very, very near future. Hopefully, I will start before Tuesday so that I can get through enough game or beat the entire game, depending on how my weekend goes, so that I can give you a review. Now, speaking of reviews, I did play a game called The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. It's by a company. It's by a group called the Astronauts. This was an interesting game. It's kind of like a
Psychotic?
No.
Psychological?
Yeah, psychological thriller, with some kind of like paranormal abilities. You play the part of Paul Prospero, a detective who, as it turns out, this is going to be his last case before he retires, and he has been sent on a mission to find a young man by the name of Ethan Carter who has mysteriously vanished.
I think I've heard this plot.
Ergo, the title of the game. It is not really that long of a game. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's not that long. It's about 3 hours long.
That's a short game.
If you get lucky. You can definitely get lost in there. You can definitely just become a tourist. This game, at the very beginning, says this is not a hand-holding game. So literally, you're thrown in there, and God help you to get through the game. Part of your power as Paul Prospero is you can basically review the past. In order to do that, you got to put everything back in its place before the events occurred. So if there was a rock that was used in like a murder, you have to pick up the rock and you have to place it back exactly where the rock was to start off with, along with every other component. Once you get to that part, you will then be given several different scenes. I think it's like 5 to 8 little like still motion scenes. You walk up to them, you try to figure out the order. You label the order, and then you hit go, and then it basically throws it to you. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to basically get through every single murder, mystery, whatever, to beat the game.
Interesting.
It is a very interesting game. It's not for everyone. There are some definitely frustrating parts to it, and there is the ability to, if you accidentally missed a mystery or a section, there is a way to basically teleport back to that section. Now, unfortunately, to go back to the end game, you have to walk your ass all the way back. I've already reviewed it. I've already put the playthrough up there, so just go ahead and check it out if you want to. For those of you in the Atlanta area or close to Atlanta,
which we are,
which Ultra Confusion is, but for any of you out there who are watching this, either live or recorded, if you are interested in getting into the developer scene, one of the great tools, actually there's two. There are two organizations here that usually work very well with each other. The Georgia Game Developer Association and the International Game Developer Association Atlanta chapter. The Atlanta chapter's meetup is happening February the 3rd from 8 to 10. I believe it's at SCAD, which is the Savannah School of Art and Design. That's a Tuesday.
February 2nd?
February 3rd.
Yeah.
The only reason I know that is because February the 4th I'll be at an Atlanta Hawks game. But anyways, definitely go there. Network. And then there's a GDDA event, I believe, on the 11th. No, 10th, because it would be the next Tuesday, the 10th. I don't remember where that one is, but definitely, Ultra Confusion will post all the information for you. Just go to our website, find out the information. There's also a global game jam that's happening at the end of the month, which of course is a really cool thing. It's you. I don't know if teams have closed yet or not, but it's going to be you and a team. Basically, have 48 hours to create a game and then showcase it, and then the winner, I believe, gains a prize.
Yay! Free food.
No, it's not free food. It's a monetary prize.
Yay, money.
Yeah. So if you want to, throw your hat in the ring, go to just Google Global Game Jam, find the Atlanta one, see if registration is still open. I'm not 100% sure, but if it is, and you're willing to try to, if you have a team, definitely reach out and see if you can register your team. If you did not make the the Georgia Game Developer Association meeting this past Tuesday. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little bit different. We are, of course, Ultra Confusion. We specialize in independently developed games, but there are so many. Let's see here.
It says I can still participate, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, looks like I can still sign up.
Awesome. So if you have a team and you did not make it to the GDDA event, you can still sign up. Just go to the Global Game Jam page, globalgamejam.org.
Or just Google Global
Game Jam.
I can't see that.
Yeah. Okay. So we definitely always talk about independently developed games, but there are some there's some independently developed stuff that I do want to bring up really, really quick. And that is...
Oh, I'm going to correct this real quick. Actually, tomorrow is the last day for registration.
Go!
Light Jam site registration period ends January 16th.
Oh, well, there you go. Go! All right. So there are some independents out there that have developed something other than games that I just want to kind of...
There's stuff in the world besides games?
I'm going to give them a shout out real quick, and then we can, we'll probably wrap this up. So, real quick, there is an author that I met when I went to AndoCon. His name is Louis Puster III. He is writing a saga called the Ukamong Saga. His first book is Racked. I believe it's been out for a year now. Then his second book is Desecrated. This is a very interesting series. You're okay. I won't wrap up. I'm not wrapping up yet. Don't worry. Sorry. But this, okay. So this guy right here, he's worked his ass off. He's got a good series. The second book is definitely, like any author. The first book's a little bit shaky. The second one, it builds on it, and it's interesting. You are going to read the book basically as Rack, the main character. Yeah, see, I got it all nice and signed. You're the main character. You're going to be reading as the main character. If the main character doesn't know something, then you don't get to know about it, which is a very risky move, but still awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The other author that I've met, by the way, go to all the conventions. If you got a convention you can go to it. This one, I would have never found anything out about this if I didn't go to AndoCon. This one, a guy by the name of Chad Huskins, he wrote the book Psycho Save Us and Psychos Within Us. What's up, Gabe? No, not Shrek. Rack.
Wait, we're reading about Shrek now, too?
No. Okay, so I met this guy at MonsterCon, which is in Greenville. Well, actually, it's not going to be in Greenville. Here's a curveball for Zealeus, because Zealeus and I have a little bit of history with South Carolina. MonsterCon,
I try to forget most of mine.
MonsterCon 2015 is going to be occurring in Gaffney, South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so, but yeah, so MonsterCon is, we're always welcome at MonsterCon, and we're really excited to be attending MonsterCon. I need to reach out to the organizers to make sure that we can have our 2 panels, which of course is the death of the video game industry as we know it. And so you finish making your indie game and you think you're done. Yes, the peach, or as a lot of people call it, the pink butt.
So are we going to have to go to Rock Hill, too?
We can, to get some sake.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, I love
I'm not sure that's a good idea, man. I'm not sure it's a good idea. I'm not sure we'll make it back.
What?
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so anyways, okay. Since we're into the convention chit-chat, let's just go through the conventions that Alter Confusion has basically been confirmed at.
And no, this will be my first time going to any of these conventions, and I don't know what I'm getting myself into, so I'm going to have a flask on me.
All right, well, okay, so Alter Confusion, the first convention of the year for us is going to be Canuga, which of course is happening in Chattanooga at the end of February.
That's
we will have a fan table there, which means that you come see us. We will have basically.
Are we gonna like practice our talks ahead of time? Do like a little Q&A with each other? You know, do some rehearsals, or we just fly by the seat of our pants when we talk about shit on stage in front of people. What is
this practice? Practice. Anyways,
I take that as a no.
Canuga will be happening completely at the Chattanooga Convention Center this year instead of half at the Chattanooga Convention Center, the other half of the Choo Choo.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's a good call.
Yes. Also, we will be back with our whiteboard Okay, so here's the funny little story about Canuga real quick. When we went to Canuga last year, all of the panel information was contained on a website that was under construction until the last day of the convention.
That doesn't sound very useful.
So what Jesse and I did was I thankfully brought a whiteboard, and I literally walked up and down all of the vendor aisles with a whiteboard with all the information about the panels so that you could...
Who wrote this on this whiteboard? You or Jesse?
I did.
They could read your tickets to scratch?
Okay, no, okay. Well, let's rephrase. I came up with all the verbiage. Jesse wrote most.
Okay, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, okay. He's a teacher.
You realize we're gonna have a problem if this happens this year? Because
I could do it. It just takes me longer. Like Jesse could quickly write. Dude, this is my chicken scratch when I'm writing quickly. Okay? I could write real nice if I actually take the time. Okay. Okay, so
I'm not saying anything.
All right, we're going to Canuga. We'll also be at MomoCon. We're not completely locked in stone about how many panels we're doing or if we're going to have a fan table. But fingers crossed, we will have all three. The 2 panels and then, of course, the fan table. Usually what we have at the fan table is at least a TV and an Ouya. I will not be bringing an external hard drive because that's how I lost everything on my external hard drive last time.
What happened to your external hard drive?
So there was I don't remember if it was Jesse or myself. We were playing something, a video from the external hard drive, and the USB cord got kicked out of the hard drive while it was playing something, and it completely bricked it.
Ah, shit, yo. I'll buy a 64 gig USB flash drive for like $30 on Amazon.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
Just
remind me.
Then we'll load some playthroughs and all that stuff.
Just remind me to do that. I'll buy one.
Okay, so MomoCon, AndoCon, if it happens, I still haven't heard anything about AndoCon, so I don't know.
That's the one in Atlanta?
Yes, it's in Atlanta. DragonCon is always a long shot. We are still a very, very small shop, so our chances of getting in there is you basically, we need to know someone who knows someone who knows someone. So hopefully we know someone.
We're only 4 degrees of separation away from each other.
I know. The real fun thing about if you are a small organization like us and you apply for a fan table at DragonCon, here's a fun little thing. You won't know you have a fan table until 3 days prior. So if you have a team, of people who are planning on working a table, but you don't know if you're going to have a fan table or not over, was it Memorial Weekend?
It's one of those special weekends.
September something.
How
September
fun.
1st.
Ooh, that's like the first week of school.
Yes. That's why you can never attend PAX Prime. It's the same weekend as PAX Prime.
Yeah, that sucks.
But make sure that you don't let everyone go on holiday. Man, I've been watching too many.
Okay, Green Day.
No. I've been watching way too many BBC TV shows, apparently. Because there's like, I'm going on holiday.
Speaking of that, did you hear about what's happening with the BBC and Netflix, unfortunately?
No, what?
As of February 1st, unless something changes, the contract between Netflix and BBC is finished.
Well, that sucks balls.
Yes, it's very sad news. So, Doctor Who may be taking the TARDIS away from the TV.
No, but it's bigger on the inside. Okay.
It's smaller on the outside.
Only one person has ever said that on the TV show.
And I love her.
And it was, All right. So DragonCon, AndoCon, Siege, which is the Georgia Game Developer Association event. We will be there. We won't have a fan table. We'd love to tell you why, but I don't want to give away. Yeah, I know, not Doctor Who. I don't want to give away the pricing scheme for the tables, which is why we won't have a table there. But rest assured, I will be there in some capacity, probably videotaping most of the talks. That's what I usually do at conventions that I'm not working. You'll see a lot of videos coming out of there. I always get the keynote for Friday night and Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, a couple random panels here or there. Usually the panels that I really want to go to.
Right on.
So, God, I swear to I keep feeling every single time I give the number of conventions. I swear to God, I'm always missing one, but I'm probably not.
You'll probably be sitting here on a Friday one day, and you'll get a phone call. Hey, Charlie, where are you at, man? You're supposed to be like in Russia, in Moscow.
Okay.
Giving a talk.
Funny story.
Where's your passport? Yeah.
I need to re-up my passport. I have not had a passport since I came home from my honeymoon. The reason is because my passport got laundered. And, yeah.
I would probably, take care of that, because with that, it's going to take a while to get a new one.
I know. Well, I mean, it's still like, it's still there. It's just probably not. I look a lot different than I do.
Well, it depends on how they label it, because the problem is, like, I knew somebody who got, like, their passport stolen. So from, like, henceforth, your passport will always say replacement on it.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually had her passport confiscated overseas because it said replacement on it.
Fantastic.
I was like, really? So, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into some of the games that we're going to be playing this upcoming week. Of course, we still have Smite Fever. I mean,
it's a terrible disease.
So we're going to play really bad Smite.
And terrible, yes. Especially if you're missing players in the game, which is my pet peeve of Smite, is that you cannot kick AFKers. Like, I understand not being able to kick players off your team. I get that. But if, like, somebody is AFK for 5 minutes, like, disconnected for 5 minutes, they should be auto-kicked.
Okay, so I was playing a match last night, and this guy started playing and then stopped all of a sudden, and then no one could, like, he was just sitting there at the base.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, we kind of need you out there. And then, like, we are literally making the run to the Titan to win the match. And all of a sudden, he's back. He's like, oh, sorry, man, I had to take a phone call. Like, you've been gone for 25 minutes. What kind of phone call were you on? Couldn't you just call him back? Could you put him on speakerphone? That's what I do.
Oh, nice.
So anyways, we'll be playing some Smite.
Indeed.
Zealeus and I have to look up the name of the game. Apparently
I'm playing a game that I don't know about.
As we stated before, we are an independent video game news and review website, so we do review games that are independently developed. I mean, that's our main focus. So the game that Zealeus will have the opportunity to play, and I will play, is a game called Gunslugs 2.
Well, there's a small caveat with that with me.
What's that?
So I have the cheapest TV that Best Buy offers, which has one HDMI input. I have the HDMI switcher. The problem is you put the HDMI of the Ouya through the HDMI switcher, and it all goes to crap in a handbasket.
Well, you have a cheap switch as well.
It's a monoprice switch, which usually works just dandy.
Uh-huh.
So it works with the Xbox 360. So I have to finagle. I'm sure there's something I can do to finagle to make it work. But I've been busy playing Smite instead because some dork made me go. I'm not naming names, but I got into Smite because some guy I know. You know, it's not obvious at the table.
Right.
I'll hopefully get back a little into crappy. What's that stupid other fighting game I was playing? I can't remember what it's called now on the PC.
The
one I was playing before we left.
The prequel to oh god, what the hell is that?
It was one I was playing before I went on the cruise.
Vindictus.
Vindictus. Yes, I need to get back into Vindictus because they released a new player for Vindictus, which means people are actually playing low-level dungeons again. Mm-hmm. So there's actually like groups that you can join instead of having to solo all the content. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a game where grouping with people actually makes sense with how they set up the instances.
Right. Real quick, the Russian in the chat room. My wife did the laundry because she's an amazing person. After our honeymoon, it turned out that my passport was in the was in my pocket, and water plus really hot dryer equals warping of passport. Okay, so you'll be playing Vindictus.
That's my plan this weekend. We'll see how that ends up. Mm-hmm. But more likely I'll be playing more Smite. Because
I'll be playing Smite. I'll be playing Gunslug 2. I will be playing... I keep an eye on... The vast majority of the games that Ultra Confusion ends up playing is through Steam because we just hit the indie keyword. But another thing that I personally keep an eye on is the indie game developer scene on Facebook. One of the games that just came out, I mean, it's a really simple game. It's called Infinite Stairs. It's literally, I know this is going to sound boring as shit, and I promise it's not. Maybe it is. Basically, you have a randomly generated set of stairs that you're going to try to walk up as fast as you can, and they're going to have turns. So you have two buttons at the bottom of, it's for the iPhone. You have two buttons at the bottom of the phone. One is just to go up the step. The other one is to basically turn directions and take a step. And so you're trying to go up as fast as you can up there, and then you unlock new characters.
It sounds like Temple Run, only not actually moving the phone to control your character.
It's pretty easy to get into. It definitely takes a little bit of time to kind of like warm up to. I will probably never get a 400 steps, so one of the characters will be forever locked. But I've unlocked all the other characters.
Sounds like a good practice for your finger dexterity for extracurricular activities.
Mm-hmm. Video games.
Exactly, that's what I was going for.
Jesus.
Don't
be ambiguous!
What else would I be talking about with finger dexterity? Is there anything else that you need to worry about?
Oh, dear Jesus. Okay, anyways, moving on. There's another game. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cheat. thank God I have my computer open here because I'm going to have to go to Facebook because there's another game that I found out about. Just take an elevator. Well, that would be easier.
You need a space elevator.
Yeah.
That would help out a lot, you.
Yes, yes. The other game is called Lapsum, which I have the alpha for. I don't know too much about this.
The title says absolutely nothing about the game. At least Infinite Scares, you could be like, okay, I'm climbing stairs. Lapsum, I'm like, what the hell?
Okay, so from the videos that I've seen, it's like you have a rag doll that you're basically throwing down like a dark, dark hole, and
You're
just
sure it's
trying
not
to,
a baby?
No, it's not a baby.
Okay.
And you're just, from what I could tell is you're basically trying to navigate this ragdoll through this series of horror-ish stuff that's on the side that will like grind your ragdoll to pieces or eat it alive or some crazy thing like that. I'll tell you more after I play the alpha.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
I'm
trying to be positive, man. It's just not happening.
I'm sorry. It's all
right. I'll get over it. I'll just drink more of my empty beer bottle.
Okay, so real quick, I know that we keep going back to Smite, but that's because we've got a lot of Smite on the brain. If you want to find him, it is Zealeum, Z-E-A-L-E-M.
Yes. Indeed, because my normal name is Zealeus was probably taken by myself years ago, and
he can't remember his password.
I don't even know what email account it's associated with anymore because who hasn't had too many email addresses over the years?
I currently have. Let's see here. I've got the admin one. I've got my Ultra Confusion one. I've got two for Gmail. I've got my Hotmail one. I have a Yahoo one simply so I could play fantasy football. And then I have my my corporate work email.
I have my personal email which I use. I have my professional email address that forwards to my real inbox anyway, so I always get those emails. And I have my work email.
So you're probably gonna find him as Zealeum. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, if you want to team up with a total noob who doesn't know, jack shit about all the gods, that's me right there.
And then of course you can find me, Altered Confusion. That is
without vowels.
Without vowels. It's ALTRDCNFSN.
Yep. That's how I found you. I'm like,
woo!
I think that's how he types it.
Yes, Hotmail still works. Although I don't think they really call it Hotmail anymore.
They definitely
call it Live.
Yeah, and it's.
But that's
terrible.
where like all my crap emails go now.
It's like if you ever get a resume and it's like at hotmail.com in the trash.
No. Did it come on an AOL CD? Close, close. My mom still has her AOL account.
Remember back in the day when like AOL was the internet?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm on AOL, man. It's the internet. I'm like, oh god.
No, I remember there was that transition period between when you could actually use the internet without having AOL. Like you could just plug right in. But you still have those people going, well, hold on, I gotta sign into AOL. I'm like, wait, stop. Go to a web browser real quick and just go to Google. Or, excuse me, I guess Yahoo or Lycos at the time. I don't fucking know.
Dogpile!
Dogpile, yeah!
That's my favorite was because back in the AOL days, is you ran, remember you had your friends list.
Yep.
It was always who could come up with the coolest away message. It was like the progenitor to status messages, I guess, on Facebook. And you always had your quizzes. You had like your little quiz bot thing.
Yep.
And you'd always be asking quizzes, and Drew Warlick always kicked everybody's ass.
He is a trivia king. He was the kind of guy who had 3 trivia nights lined up per week, okay?
He was a good guy. Yep. But yeah, I remember you had your little trivia bot for your away message, and that was how you rolled.
Speaking of trivia, if you haven't yet already, and you're looking for something to lose a lot of time to, there's a wonderful game. Maybe not so wonderful, but there's a game for your iOS device called Trivia Crack that once you start, you can't stop.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about.
Why is this not working? I need more lives!
I did lose a game while we were talking, by the way. Just saying.
Oh, God.
I lost another one.
So, funny story real quick about Trivia Crack. My work apparently has figured out how Trivia Crack is interacting with the internet.
Yep.
So if you hit the Wi-Fi in the office, they block it.
Nice.
Damn it! Another thing blocked!
Full of bastards!
I can't hit Ultra Confusion at work. I can't hit any gaming sites. Well, no shit. I can't I can't do Twitch.
You need to find a friend in the IT department. That's what it comes down to. They can put you on the whitelist.
Mm-hmm.
Bribe them if you have to. You can bribe them with one of your indie books.
This Psycho Save Us is a very interesting book. I would recommend the Saga of Ukamong more than this one because this one, it's.
I'm enjoying the book I'm reading right now.
Which one are you reading?
I'm reading Patrick Rothfuss, the Wise Man Fears, the Wise Man's Fear. I think is the name of the second book.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it is it's basically like Harry Potter written for adults. That's the best way I can describe it, but with much better literary skills. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
From a actual like writing standpoint. I don't want to say like, the characterization or the actual book is better than Harry Potter. It's just the actual skill of the writer from an actual literary standpoint. It's written at a much higher grade level too.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's exceptional. If you like fantasy books.
I'm still waiting for the third book.
It's so good.
There is a novella out if you want to. It follows the character Ari.
Oh, Ari.
In the underneath or under thing.
She's cool.
So definitely check that out. There's also a novella out for the Saga of Ukamong. I don't remember the name of that one off the top of my head, but definitely, literally go to Facebook right now. If you are a sci-fi fantasy kind of person, you like those swords, wizards, demons, dragons, whatever, and Google or find Louis Puster III. That's the name right there on Facebook, and it will lead you to his stuff. He's a great guy, and the books are pretty solid.
Right on.
Okay, we are now approaching the 9 o'clock hour.
It is the bewitching hour. The pumpkin will strike.
So unfortunately, we're gonna have to wrap this up in a second because I actually have to prepare myself for a online Harry Potter for adults. You mean like a porn parody? No.
We are not talking about slash fic right now, man. That's what you're referring to. I think it's called slash fic. No. Okay, here's what I mean. I'm just going to 1 minute about Patrick Rothfuss. What I mean by that is very clearly, you read Harry Potter and the writing style, the literature, the grammar, etc. It's very clearly, especially the first couple books written for kids, which is fine and great, because adults, myself included, greatly love the Harry Potter series. I think it's called the Kingslayer series. Is that the name of the series?
I think it's just a Kingslayer.
Whatever.
Saga or something.
Something Slayer series.
I'll Google it.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Just the style of the writing. It's definitely the themes and what's going on between the characters, their interactions, the overall, just everything about the book. It's much more for adults. It's not something. Okay, put it another way. It's not something I would let somebody who's not in high school yet read.
Really? Yeah, I guess so.
The
King Killer Chronicles.
King Killer, dang it. Okay, I was wrong about the Slayer part. King Killer. I don't think somebody who's not in high school yet.
What is this?
Is there something else?
It's the Slow Regard of Silent Things.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know if I would let somebody under high school read it. Maybe I would. It probably depends on the person. But it's not for kids, for young kids. But it's definitely an outstanding series. The reason I'm not saying any more than that is because if I say anything, it'll give away I can't say anything without giving away parts of the plot.
That's the novella. That's what I'm reading. The Slow Regard of Silent Things.
Because if I say anything about the main character, I'll give away the plot.
Yeah.
That's
you
why
need to read it.
Yeah, that's why I'm not saying anything specific. Is you got it because I don't want to give away the plot basically. But it's so good.
Damn it! I wanted to say one more thing. I can't remember what it is now.
No.
So I forgot. Yeah.
All right, so I think that means it's probably time to wrap it up, sir. What? You're looking.
I'll be in high school in 2 years. You think that is fine? Absolutely.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
read Patrick Rothfuss.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like it has like gratuitous violence or like crazy sex scenes out of some weird fiction. It's more adult themed. It's clearly written for a more mature audience. if you're if you're used to reading sci-fi fantasy, you'll be fine reading it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I really apologize. It has been awesome to have an active chat room, but I literally have to set up for a.
You were saying that Harry. I thought you were gonna say like you're setting up for it because you started to read that. Like I have to set up for a Harry Potter. I'm like,
No. I am in an online college football video game league that okay. So here's a fun little fact, and they continue to do this. They email back and forth about when everyone's going to play. I don't read those emails because they don't have to do with work. They don't have to do with Ultra Confusion. They don't have to do with a family event. So it kind of gets wiped underneath the rug. So I just had one of the guys that's in the league go, we really need to play tonight. Let's start at 9:30. So 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I mean, we still have a little bit of time.
And I still have to drive home.
So Zealeus also has to drive home.
I don't live here in the basement most of the time that they know of. I'll leave it at that.
But I guess be on the lookout for all the game news we could get our hands on. The reviews we're going to be doing, fine, that I'll be writing.
I didn't say anything. I'm sitting here screwing my screw.
Oh, Jesus. Do you actually think before you speak?
Who?
You. Yeah, you. I'm going to screw my screw.
Too much.
Okay. Okay, so here's a couple games that I have to write up. It is going to be, Blackguard 2, Steam World Dig, and Amphora that need to be written up. And then, of course, I'll be playing some, what shit? I just said I was going to play Blackguard 2.
And Smite.
Right. And Smite. So if you want to find us, Zealem, Zealem, and then Altered Confusion without all of the vowels except for the first A, which is ALTRDCNFSN, which is amazing that I've done that now twice without screwing up because I've got selective dyslexia. So doing number sequences or letters is a bitch and a half.
I'm impressed by your spelling without vowel skills.
Why, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday night hangout for myself, Charlie, and Zealeus. It's been a pleasure to broadcast to you and also give you the opportunity to watch the amazing stuff that comes out of our brains and sometimes out of our mouths, because sometimes it gets, mixed up. But anyways, keep an eye on our Twitch feed. I'm definitely going to be playing some Smite and maybe some other games that I'll be reviewing. But we'll be back next Thursday to give you more of this awesomeness as well as some craziness as well. So thank you for tuning in.
Remember, kids, keep on smiting in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.